Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. Got another Master Duel video for you. Coming at you with some more Cool Tune gameplay. Been trying to practice with this deck a lot because it's really difficult. The combo lines themselves aren't too bad, but as far as like actually playing out the disruption, it can be a little bit tricky sometimes. So we're going to start with this going first game in a mirror match here. We're going to begin with Synchro Overtake trying to get Rikka, and then search Rotary, but they have an Ash Blossom. So not the most ideal setup. We're going to have to use Mix plus Clip in order to make the track maker here. Unfortunately, they also have a Maxi, so we're gonna have to play through that as well. Certainly, again, not the most ideal scenario, but we're gonna actually just pass here because we have the Clip in hand. See, Mix on normal summon simply adds the Rikka, which I think I probably would have done here anyway. Like, I could have added Rotary, but the extra normal summon doesn't really do a lot here. So Rikka would have been added no matter what. Now we can do follow-up plays, and moreover, now I can just save Clip for my opponent's turn, giving them 0 draws off the Maxi, which I think is pretty important. We also have the Veiler for backup here as well. They're going to normal summon Rikka. We can throw out our effect Veiler here. And as soon as the Veiler resolves, I'm actually going to immediately use the Clip effect. See, the nice thing about Clip is that I don't have to synchro summon with Clip. I can use Mix plus Rikka here in order to make the Cool Tune remix. And now the Mix can pop the Rikka, and then I can still make FS, which I'm going to do right now. I guess I could have just made FS in the first place, because it's not like I was going to really time it, you know, at a different point during the opponent's turn. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, there really was no point to that, was there? Excuse me. Because I guess I could have waited for them to try to activate something, but if they go for Synchro Overtake, I think I would have definitely wanted to have used FS on the Overtake, because if I let them summon something, they could still Synchro Summon from hand. So yeah, in that scenario, we could just go straight for FS, but either way, our opponent's going to concede, and this is a lot of the reason why I've switched up my build a bit to include a third Clip, because I think Clip is good for scenarios like this. But anyway, let's take a look at our next duel. Alright, how about a going second game? This time we're going to be up against Raizio Mitsurugi that's also playing a small canine package with Izuna and Lupus. As mentioned, we are going to be going second here, with only an effect Veiler as far as hand traps go. Overtake and Cool Tune Synchro do show some promising signs for our turn coming up, though. Forgot they were also on Fiendsmith. It was actually Fiendsmith Mitsurugi with K9, sorry, not Raizio. Alright, so pretty standard stuff. Lurie for Requiem, all that fun shenanigans. I'm gonna wait and use the Veiler on Sequence, is my plan here. They're gonna normal summon Fuelos and then use that in order to link into the Sequence, which is fine. A little bit annoying, though, because now they can still revive Engraver, but normal summon Fuelos is totally fine because it's a lot better than them going like normal summon Aramasa, for example, right? And now that I know that they've used their normal, it's a lot less likely they're going to have anything threatening to follow up with. Besides this Engraver, of course. They're going to go Sequence plus Engraver into the Ognum Day. And they're going to use the Tract in order to Fusion Summon. Engraver in hand with Ognum Day on field is going to end up making Fiendsimus Lacrima. And they end up reviving Sequence, which I was a little bit confused here. I thought we were going to have to end up dealing with Caesar. Caesar actually would have been a little bit of a problem because it could have negated both Cool Tune Synchro and Overtake. But as you see, we have Gamma, so even if they had just made Caesar here, we would definitely be good to go. Since they don't have a Caesar to threaten us with, I'm just going to use Gamma right away on the Lacrima. And this might have been before I had Omega in my extra deck. No, I had Omega, it's just that Cool Tune Synchro locks you into tuners, so yeah, I ended up taking out the Visas Omri Terra, but this is actually kind of a reason why it's good to have it. Just the option to make a level 8 Synchro Tuner monster, I think is quite good. Mananium Prime Heart is another option, but I don't own it, I don't want to craft it. But it doesn't really matter here, because I can just pop off anyway. Until they drop Nibiru, that is. Nibiru's going to come down here, end up being the last card in their hand. Alright, so Nibiru hits the board. We get a big token, 6,800 attack and defense points. Lachroma gets to activate, putting back sequence and burning us. We still have Synchro Overtake. We can reveal RS, summon Rikka, and then I'm going to Synchro with the Mix in order to make the Remix. Now Mix can pop their Nibiru. We'll swing in for a little bit of damage, but more importantly, we have the Remix going into their turn, meaning we have Disruption. Our opponent's also in top deck mode, making it very unlikely they'll actually be able to come back here. Although I will say Habakiri is one hell of a top deck to have peeled right off the top of their, well, deck. Okay, so they're going to add the Ritual. This is the point where I want to use the Remix. Special Rico, add Mix. Ideally, I would have been able to pop a monster as I'm making RS, but I really need to negate this Ritual. Now, here I was a little bit scared, because they actually revived Engraver, but you'll notice they actually misplayed pretty hard. They put back the Requiem. So if they had kept Requiem in the Graver, they could have equipped it to Engraver, and then activated and basically forced me to use the RS effect, then activated Ritual, and then comboed out from there. But unfortunately, because they chose to put back Requiem, now when they activate Ritual, I'm just going to negate it with RS. I think, because our opponent did misplay a couple of times, I think that this game could have been very... I don't know. I'm wondering if I could have been able to win this game if they had summoned a Caesar. I would have Gamma destroyed it. That wasn't really that different from what played out. I still would have played into Nibiru. I don't know. I think this game could have been winnable from our opponent's side, but thankfully we were able to use our Disruption on their turn to stop their amazing top deck of Habakiri there. Okay, we have a couple more games to show you. Let's go into the next one. Here's another going first duel. This time against Rikka Sun Avalon. Couldn't even tell you the last time I played against this deck. I'm pretty sure these games were my last ones getting out of Platinum and back into Diamond. Okay, so we're definitely going to fire off the Cool Tune Synchro during the draw phase. But unfortunately, they've got an Ash Blossom. So, though we played around Droll, Ash Blossom still gets us here. We do have Rotary plus our own Ash Blossom, though, which means we can still make a level 4 here. Gonna activate Rotary, reveal Ash Blossom, extra normal summon the Rotary, Synchro with the Ash Blossom in my hand, and then that's how we're gonna make the Track Maker. Now we go Rotary Effect, Track Maker as well. I'm doing Rotary as Chain Link 1 because I really value looking at my opponent's hand here. Okay, so we look at their hand, we see Sunseed Genius Loki, to be expected. Primula the Rikka Fairy, I'm not really concerned about, it's not really that relevant here. Rikka Glamour and Sunvine Sowing are both pretty solid extenders though. So we have the starter and the extenders to think about here as our opponent's going to play into their turn. We're going to also add the field spell JJ Cool Tune. Oh, now here I actually misplayed. I used the Track Maker, I think it was, to add Q, but I actually should have just added another Cool Tune Synchro, because I could have used the field spell to tribute Track Maker and then add Q, not special summon, but just add Q, and then extra normal summon the Q then. But by not getting the spell card here, I don't get access to it for the rest of the turn, which means I won't be able to have a copy to set for my opponent's turn. That is going to be a pretty noticeable weakness to my end board here. Yeah, I definitely misplayed. I should have just, like I said, searched the quick play spell and then gotten Q off the field spell here. But anyway, they're going to normal summon the Loki. So we're going to go Mix and Rekko. We're going to Synchro Summon with the Rekko that was already on the field. That way we can search Clip off the Rekko we just summoned. Going for the Cool Tune RS, Mix gets to activate, popping the Loki. Rekko, as mentioned, is going to then add the Clip. There's that, and then of course we have the RS negate. I'm actually going to use Clip right off the bat here. That way I can synchro with Q and start ripping apart their extra deck. So we're going to go Crackle Chainlink 1, Clip Chainlink 2, and then Q Chainlink 3. Very specifically want to do Crackle as 1 and then Clip as 2. I want the random extra deck rip to go first, and then my informed extra deck rip, the one I can actually look at and pick, will be more, well, informed by the random rip. So, alright, Q is going to look at their top 2. A couple of extenders. I'm going to banish the Sunvine one. I don't know if that was right. We banished a Teardrop, the Rikka Queen. So they have another copy in the extra deck that wasn't the most relevant. I think the most relevant thing to banish here off the Crackle, which I ended up hitting, was the Jasmine. Link 2, so it's fairly easy for them to make with extenders, and also, of course, extends their plays even further. So definitely want to take care of that. They're going to end up going Sunvine Sowing. I'll negate that with the Cool Tune RS, although we know they do still have the Rikka Glamour as well. Rikka, I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. They've got the Therion Discus Coliseum, or whatever it's called. How does this go? Disco Coliseum. And then they're going to add the Petal. Okay, so yeah, they're going to use Lily Boreas, the Therion card, and then Rikka Flower, or Princess. I said 3 different names there. They're going to use these to make a Link 2, which I think would have been Jasmine, but here it's going to be the Sylvian Dance Peon, which I'm just going to negate with the Effect Veiler. And this should be the last of what they're able to do, because this one is a Rikka monster that doesn't summon itself, and all they have is a Link 2 that's negated, and yeah, they're going to end up conceding. So that was a really good example of us using our Cool Tunes, like, knowledge, right, in order to stop their plays. And if I hadn't misplayed and actually had a Cool Tune Synchro, I could have ripped 2 more from their extra deck with the Crackle, which would have made navigating their turn a lot easier. Also would have had Zaylen to have a negate, again, obviously would have made things a lot easier. But we were still able to navigate this game in spite of our misplay. Like I said, it's a difficult deck. So anyway, got one more game to show you, and then we're going to finish off here. This final duel is going to be another going second game and a 10-turn grind game as well up against Odion. Going second against Odion is not a place you want to be, but Cool Tune is among one of the decks that's better equipped to handle that. So we have Rikka, we got a bunch of hand traps, we should be good. Our opponent's going to set 4 and then pass. They have the lab stuff for a disguise here. Another copy of Rikka is not really what I wanted to see, but we'll have to make do. For the normal summon Rikka, they're going to chain Solemn Warning. Pretty brutal. I have no choice but to pass here. Not like I can respond to a counter trap, or I even have anything to do that with. Anyway, so they're going to go for the Lordly Load, try to add a card. We're definitely going to want to Ash Boss in that, because they have... Or rather, I have multiple Ash Blossoms. They're going to activate the effect, and I can draw for Fulos. Really want to see another Cool Tune monster here. Of course, except another copy of Rikka, which is exactly what we end up getting. So it's like, ugh, can I at the very least have an Effect Veiler? Nope, just another Fulos. Okay, normal summon Rikka. Try this again. They're going to chain Dominus Purge this time. Now, the negate wouldn't have been the end of the world, but the destroy is going to matter a lot. Because if it weren't for the negate, I could have still potentially made Loudness War, but here, I just have to pass again. They're going to flip up Apophis, a Swamp Deity. I'm going to throw out Fulos, because I know they're about to, like, Synchro Summon here, or I'm at least pretty sure they are. Although, I guess Apophis is level 6, right? Not 4. I thought it was level 4 during the actual game itself. But either way, they could have potentially linked. I don't think Fulos there was terrible, but maybe might not have been necessary. Alright, Delta. Yet again, we're going to normal summon Rikka. Yet again, it's going to get stopped. They're going to imperm it, but at least this time, we get to keep it on the field. So I can actually tune it with a monster in hand. They're going to try to capitalize off that with a Maxi. We have an Ash Blossom to put a stop to that. Okay, this game, which was not going well up to this point, is suddenly looking a little bit more winnable. Because here I can tune with the Delta in hand, and since I have Rikka specifically, I can even make the Killer Tune, or Cool Tune rather, RS. Now, Rikka can pop the last face down card, Dominus Impulse, and then I can battle over the Apophis. Okay, now all they have is the Labradite and the Lordly Load, and I can negate whatever they top deck. So, again, feeling not too bad right now. They're going to normal summon Man with the Mark, we can negate that, and because of the RS level effect, they can't even make the Baron de Fleur here. Very, very nice. This is what I wanted to see, except now they're going to link off the Labradite for a Link Spider. And then, of course, this is almost assuredly going to be the SP Little Knight. Yeah, so they did end up having an out within their extra deck here. They're going to use that to banish the Cool Tune RS, and now all of a sudden I'm back on the back foot a little bit. Not even a little bit, a lot of it. Especially because we don't top deck anything relevant. The only engine I've seen this whole game is all 3 copies of my Rikka. This is brutal. And they top deck another Man with the Mark. It's like, ah! Alright, we're going to Ash Blossom their Man with the Mark. try to stall them for one more turn. Although, here's the thing, right? They've got Little Knight and now Barrel and Diffler. So now even if I do top deck a starter, it's like, what could I realistically do? The answer is nothing, unfortunately. Yeah, I think this was just a case where it does come down to luck, right? Our opponent got amazing top decks, which even though we were able to stop, they can still put up negates. And yeah, we drew 3 Reco and then like all of our hand traps. So I'm just going to show them Maxi and Droll and essentially concede here. But still, it was a very good, fun back and forth game. Very well played on my opponent's part. GG's, GG's. It's just, again, it would have been nice to draw anything at an earlier point from the engine that wasn't just Reco. But it happens. Not that big of a deal. I actually don't mind games like this. See, here's the thing, right? It's really easy to have a game like this and get really worked up over it and be like, oh, if I just top decked anything and they got so lucky. But like, I kind of have this like little mantra in my head, especially for scenarios like this, where it's like, okay, well, if I wasn't in control of whether I won or lost, and I played to the best of my ability, I can walk away satisfied, right? Because what else can you do? And if I do lose a game because of a misplay, I can still notice it, improve on it, and still walk away satisfied. And I think that's the kind of mentality that's really helped me like keep a cool head when playing both on ranked ladder and like in tournaments and stuff. But anyway, that's the gameplay portion. Let me show you the deck list and then we will finish off here. Okay, so here is my current Cool Tune deck list. As mentioned, I made room for a third clip and a third mix and Ghost Spell as well. Ghost Spell is really, really good in this meta. I mean, it's just a great hand trap in general, but especially against Cool Tune, the remix in particular, I really like having it. I think this list is fairly standard. Oh, I cut the deltas out in order to, yeah, still keeping the gamma, the Ciphering Gear gamma, but I cut the deltas in order to make room for some more hand trap and a little bit more engine as well. But there's a lot of different variations of off engine you could play. I wouldn't mind having a Nibiru, actually. It's not that bad in this meta. It's still, like, there are a lot of decks that can just inherently play around it, but a lot of the time, Cool Tune actually is not one of them, especially if you're like playing a little bit of a win more or sloppy position, which I am very guilty of. I'm not like trying to talk down on anyone for that. No, I'm very much still learning this deck, and as I even showed in one of these games, I'm still like making misplays and learning from it, but the learning from it's the most important part. I really like actually the ratios that I have right now. It's a lot of 3-ofs, which means that we're seeing a lot of really consistent hands. And I think that's a lot of why this deck is so good in Best of One. It's very consistent, it's got a lot of hand trap / turn 0 plays, and obviously is borderline unstoppable if it goes off going first. For the extra deck, made room for Little Knight, because like, why not? I haven't really summoned Typhon, but I still think it's fine to have. I mean, I haven't summoned Little Knight either. Baron, I actually haven't summoned Zaylin yet, which is kind of wild, but yeah, despite having multiple days of play sessions of testing with Cool Tune, I have not summoned a Zaylin a single time. I'm still having an overall very positive win rate. I think somewhere in the neighborhood of like 65% right now, last time I counted. So, I don't know. that said, this was Platinum going into Diamond, so my misplays are a lot more forgivable here, I guess, in terms of like, they're still allowing me to win games. So maybe I should be focusing on summoning this card a lot more often, but yeah, I've actually have not summoned Zaylin a single time, I'm pretty sure, and just still been winning just fine. There was another extra deck change I was thinking about making, but now I can't remember what it was. I like all these ratios, including 2 Loudness War. You can definitely get away with 1, but the second copy is not bad to have. Sometimes, really, honestly, not even just for like getting 2 of these out and trying to build your board into a bunch of towers. I think that's even a little bit win more in a lot of scenarios, but there are just a lot of times where you can really only make a level 6 because all you really have access to is like one of your 3s and a Ghost Girl. So in that case, I really like having access to another copy of Loudness War, and it's a way better disruption tool than it looks like, right? Like if you have, you know, Mix and Reco and like Clip in your graveyard, then you just get your pick during your opponent's turn of whether you want to pop a monster, spell trap, or try to pick away their extra deck a little bit more. It's very handy, honestly. Oh, duh, I was just talking about it during one of the games. The Visas Omri Terra. That's what I wanted to try to put back into the extra deck. Because I do really like having a level 8 Synchro Tuner option just to be able to go into, and it also helps you OTK. I've seen people kind of ask about like, oh, can you make this turn 1? And I think I even offhandedly mentioned like, oh, you could in theory make this turn 1 and set a counter trap. But in order to do that, you would need to use up like all of your Cool Tune resources. And I'll tell you right now that your Cool Tune end board is way better than like going into this and setting 1 counter trap. That's just not that strong. Again, the main reason you would want this is to just have a level 8 synchro tuner to be able to go into, and also one that can potentially help you OTK. This is probably just your best option, although again, actually Prime Heart isn't a tuner, right? No, it's not a tuner. Okay, so yeah. No, the Visus Omniterra in that case is definitely, if I can spell here, is definitely just your best option as far as that goes. As far as what I would take out to put it back in, I don't know, probably just the Omega. Like, again, it could come up if you Gamma during your turn, but even in the one game where I did, it was because I used Cool Tune Synchro and we were locked into tuners anyway. So really the only scenario where Omega's coming out is if you exactly are going second, activate Overtake as your first action while you have no monsters on the board, then you Gamma. Stop their hand trap or whatever thing on the field they countered with, then you can Omega and try to rip into their hand trap. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like summoning this would probably come up a little bit more often. Could also make an argument for dropping Baron. This really only comes out with Zaylin plus, you know, one of your level 3 tuners, but things to think about moving forward. Anyway, thank you as always for watching. Super appreciate the support, especially because you watched all the way to the very end, which is one of the best ways that you could support not just me, but really any smaller YouTube channel. Really appreciate the support. Especially also on the Cool Tune guide that I put out the other day, or a couple of days ago now. Almost a week ago now. Wow, yeah, thanks for the support with that. I really appreciate it. But that's going to do it for now. This is Hexlex. I am signing out and hoping you have a fantastic day. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.